This for the ones who are lying for life. Let that pride keep you sharper than a blade on the knife. Stay on point, home slices, and I promise we gon' chop it up. Only iron sharpers iron, they ain't cut like we cut. This for the ones who are lying for life. Let that pride keep you sharper than a blade on the knife. Stay on point, home slices, and I promise we gon' chop it up. Only iron sharpers iron, they ain't cut like we cut.
Okay, like pretty much the most that I know about the Lake Como community where I was born and raised, let's say 100 years ago, Doc Wilburn, we call him Doc Wilburn, but his name was William H. Wilburn Sr. William H. Wilburn Sr., Doc Wilburn. He was cool with Amon Carter Sr. Amon Carter Sr. Was that Don Carter daddy or something like that?
No, no relation, man.
No relation to Don Carter. Okay, so him and Amon Carter were cool, and Amon Carter actually donated Como Park to him. You know what I'm saying? Donated Como Park to Doc Wilburn. It said that Lake Como was named after Lake Como, Italy. And we had pretty much the same thing that they had in Lake Como, Italy, which is a casino on the lake. A casino boat was on the lake. My mother's family, the Kennedy family, moved here in like 1955. My mother's father was the Russell family, and they had always been here, and it was always a black community. For the black people that lived on the west side of Fort Worth, because we were surrounded by so many millionaires, you know what I'm saying? Like Westover Hills is 5 minutes from here, and this is where the richest people in Texas live. To this day, Westover Hills, you know what I'm saying? Let's say around, okay, my family moved here in 55, so like 1950 or 1940, Doc Wilburn started his own little publication as far as a newspaper. It was like the Como Weekly newspaper, and it was that from 1940 till about 1986, around the time of his passing, I guess, you know what I'm saying? And he, okay, 1950 is when he started the Como 4th of July parade. That's what it was. 1940 was when he started the Como Weekly publication. 1950 is when he started the 4th of July parade, because back then the black people in the city couldn't get downtown to see a parade. You know what I'm saying? The people that could go downtown to see the parade on the 4th of July, you know, they couldn't get close enough to see the parade. You know what I'm saying? How they, you know, how they had it, where whites only right here, black people got to be at the back. But we've had that parade since 1950, all the way up until the pandemic. The pandemic 2020 was like supposed to be the 70th parade, but it got cut short, and we ended up having it the next year and the year after that. But you know what I'm saying? That's the history of the Como 4th of July parade. But Doc Wilburn is like a staple in the community as far as founding pretty much any and everything within the community. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got any kind of questions or anything? Other than that, it's like I know that my family, on my mother's side, the Kennedys, we moved here probably 1955. At the time, my grandmother had 2 children. She came here and met my grandfather, Burdette Russell, and they had 7 children together. And then my grandmother had 1 more child, making her have 10 children. But my grandfather's life was cut short in 1966. My mother was like 5 or 6 years old, but 1966 he was basically murdered on Bonnell.
You remember anything about the wall on Bryant Irvin?
The wall is what separated us from the white community in the Ridgely area. They have a Ridgely Country Club. As I was saying, Como is surrounded by rich people, you know what I'm saying?
Wealthy neighborhood.
To the east of us is the TCU area, TCU to Hewlin. So that's University all the way to Hewlin. And then to the north of us is this Westover Hills and what is it? River Oaks.
Rivercrest,
River Oaks, and it was a military base. Carswell Air Force Base. You know, that's where my mother got her first job in like 77. 1977, she was 16, going on 17. She turned 17, and
okay, you can do it.
You know, then I was born in 78, basically. You know what I'm saying? But we are surrounded by these rich people because, you know, this is Fort Worth. This is Fort Worth, Texas, and we are like 1 minute from Camp Bowie Boulevard. You know what I'm saying? Camp Bowie is basically where, when they came, I would say they, Fort Worth and Camp Bowie has been here like 200 years. And that was basically set up so they could go down to like San Antonio and Houston and have the fight with Santa Ana from Mexico over Texas. You know what I'm saying? Fort Worth was one of the first forts, and then they moved a little closer, Fort Hood, and then they moved a little closer, to, you know what I'm saying, to where the battle was at the Alamo. Ran them all the way back to San Jacinto, which is now Houston. But that was 200 years ago, and that's the history of Fort Worth and Camp Bowie. But 100 years ago, Lake Como was the neighborhood given to the black people, you know, as far as not really slaves, but, you know, the essential workers, you know what I'm saying? Because black people actually raised the children, they cooked, you know what I'm saying? Like, white people can't get enough of this soul food. So they gonna come over here for the soul food, and, you know what I'm saying? Now it's like since the 70s, it's been 70s or 80s, it's been, you know what I'm saying, nothing but a drug capital, you know what I'm saying? People come here for the drugs. And that's like basic history of Como Texans. Like we here in the city are known as Como, Texas, like we our own city, because we our own little island over here, away from all the other black neighborhoods. Say Stop 6. Stop 6 is in Fort Worth and is known for being the 6th stop along the train tracks. You know what I'm saying? The train tracks. Stop 6 is the 6th stop. That's why they call it Stop 6. But that's just a rundown of Fort Worth, the black communities. And, you know, basically to separate these black communities, they ran the freeways through it.
Yes.
Run the freeways through it and create a north, south, east, west. And, you know what I'm saying, now we claiming west side and east side. And nah, man, it's just one side, one good side.
I've heard about the division of the schools whenever segregation happened. They closed down I.M. Terrell.
Yes.
They closed down Como High.
Yes. So
They split the neighborhood between Western Hills and Arlington Heights, correct?
yes. So let's say it's like 1975 when that happened. So Dr. King died in 68, and then they started implementing the
Brown versus Board of Education.
desegregation. And started making sure we went into their schools instead of them coming to our school, basically. They started integrating us into their schools. So like 75, my mother had to go to Western Hills. Like, I want to say, was it 74 was the last class to graduate from Como High? Might have been 75. Like, I don't know if your mama or uncle, I know Uncle Herbert.
I know my mama graduated.
From Como High. And your mother is 70 right now. Your mother is 70?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
I found it.
So yes. And man, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I got as far as Como. But yes, Como High was closed down like 75, something like that. And about 10 years later, it became Como Occupation, trying to help people get jobs and stuff like that, get your GED. And then a few years after that, it became Como Montessori School, you know, for like a magnet program.
Mm-hmm.
It became a magnet program, and you know, we had all races in that school. People would come from all over to bring their kids to Como Montessori.
Deep in the heart of Texas, where the West begins, we buy it, bust it down, and sell it back to
Hello.
Mexicans.
This is Leon Slater. I actually went to Como Elementary School in the 60s, and I came from California because my dad was in the military. He spent most of his life from the Korean War up until he retired from Fort Ord, California. But I remember growing up in Como, every time he went to Vietnam, he went 3 tours in Vietnam. So every time we went to Como, they had a wall around us. But what kept us here was the spirit of love and family. And it seemed like I had family on every block. Slaters are a huge family. But what mattered most is that we had our own community. We had our own businesses. And I remember as a child, if Grandma put something to say, put it in the plate to give it to the pastor, I would keep some of that money and head to the Dairy Queen, get something, or I would get cookies at, I guess, Mr. Holloway's store, and get me some cookies, and then bring it back with my family and share it with them. It was just, I knew that there was always hope, no matter not knowing exactly where my dad was. He was overseas, and that always bothered me. But even how I grew up, even though I was different, but I didn't realize I was different, because as a child, you're just looking out at the world. But then people are starting to come up and say, what are you? Who are you? And it's like, well, that's my cousin over there. That's Chuck. That's Ricky. That's Kathy. So I say my relatives, they say, no way, you're related. But aggravated foe.
What up?
You are the seed of your father. And my father, his name is Abner. And so, with him being a soldier, and with us moving from point to point, I just knew that the time that I had here was of love and learning. And so, I left Seaside, California, which is right adjacent to Fort Ord, California. But I came here with the mission of recovering from zero, moving slowly and progressing by picking up trash, putting aluminum cans in where it should be, but knowing that everything has a place, everything will be put in its proper place, and the beauty that I remember growing up in Como will be a beautiful place again, Como. So I'm doing my part to remember my grandmother who had to work in the houses over there, but she would come home and she would always provide for us. If not, I would, if I didn't listen, I would get the switch, and I knew that the love that she offered was of correction. So the correction is necessary, is needed, especially as a youth. We need to know boundaries, but the Most High God gave us boundaries, and He says, seek His face, listen, and once we listen to wisdom and understanding, then we're blessed. And the blessing is, He has not forsaken us. We are actually in our own land. This is our land, the Americas. It's going to come back because 400 years, which is marked by the Corona, which is the solar eclipse, 2017, 2024, we're going to get back our land. But we have to cry out for mercy and say, forgive me, Father. We seek His face, the one who has the woolen hair, the one who has the bronze skins, the one who has the red eyes, bronze burned in fire. We turn to the living God, and then I actually say, I'm sorry, cry out for mercy, and then He says, I will bless you, wipe away your tear, which is YHWH, which means the right arm of God. The Y, behold, looks like cactuses, and then the W looks like the tent peg or the nail, and the H is cactus. So you end up with the hand, behold, the nail, behold. The meaning of those letters is of the Lamb being offered for you to forgive and wash away our sins. We are forgiven if we repent. And anyone who else who cries for mercy, save me. And I didn't take the vaccine shot because the living God says, I am your great physician. I am your king. So I don't vote, but I do have a hope. And that hope is not in a politician or in the doctors. But my hope is in the one who sees everything, and he marked everything by seasons of the sun and the moon. So the constellations above us will be eventually balancing out. Most High is going to come and roar, and we will know, because his trumpet will be a trumpet that no one will escape. From the rising of the sun to the setting of the sun, he's always loved his children, but his children have to say, I'm sorry, and they have to love each other. And once you love each other, you keep each other as special. We are special, but of forgiveness and mercy, and his truth of being at peace. And eat the good things that grows from living plants, the trees, the corn, the maize, all the things that he says eat, because there's no barcode on those. But what comes from there is free, eternal, growing, more forever, which he says we are made to do that because his name is in our blood, and our blood is crying out for rescue, redemption, justice, and he says, I will avenge and I will deliver, and then we will come out with great substance. 400 years we will come out with great substance, because he is the one that will return back what was stolen from us, which is our heritage, which is our name, but most of our love for each other. So I am a soul brother. Shalom.
Son, let them know your name and how to get a hold of you, and just...
I'm Leon Slater. I'm out here on the street. I used to be a mailman until they said I had a stroke. I can't be used by them. But I thank the Most High. I had time to read the books, so I'm constantly in and about a little page on. I'm out here because I know this is a beautiful place. This is a peaceful place. In spite of all the sounds of death, I listen for the birds, listen to the sounds of life that's all around us. Kids playing in the streets. I love basketball. I mean, I love life. Kids, we had a community that had all that. They took it away, but they can't take what the Most High is going to.
Name some of the things, because I was amazed when I found out some of the things that was in Como. Just name a couple of things that we're amazed by.
Como Park, they had the tennis courts. The tennis courts. Then basketball. We just play basketball. Anyone have a court, we just play out there. Football. We used to play football out in the streets or on the church parking lot. But the thing is just kids getting out playing baseball in the open lot. So kids will find a way to have fun. We didn't play video games. The electronic vibrating football thing is like, yeah, it gets boring, but nothing like being physically active and drinking water and sweating and coming in and grandma having something for us. Love life, enjoy life, and learn, because they're always willing to teach us, but we have to seek out what his word, turn our ears to him. We are his gold and silver. We are the temple. We have to take care of our temple. Thank the Most High. We're still here after all the fire and tribulation we had to take the cup to the bottom drag, but now it's our time to pass the cup and pass the double portion.
That's right.
What we sow, what they sowed, they're going to reap. But the Most High says we will bring in the joy, thanksgiving, and enter his gates with love and mercy, peace, harmony. Our consciousness is above the petty things, but rising to praise him, for his name is loving kindness and mercy. So praise the Most High, Yahweh.
Praise the Most High.
I am a child of the light, and I'm moving towards the light. We're just in this temporary realm of the flesh, but we're souls and returning back to the soul of being lights and example to go to the multiverses, multi-dimensions, multi-worlds that he is forever creating, which he's saying he's waiting to take us up higher and higher. So I am waiting for that transformation. But until then, I am serving humbly, thankfully, that he recovered from his stroke.
Blessings, brother. We sure appreciate that message, man. And it's all love, man. Lake Como, Texas, man. From the jump, man. I'm glad I got to meet you today, and glad you got to drop them jewels on us. We need it.
That's it. Right now, I'm enjoying the Monterey, California weather right here.
Yes, sir.
In Como.
Hey, crazy thing. I'm gonna be in California tomorrow. First trip to LA.
All right.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna let them know about you too.
Well, we got Slaters out there everywhere. There's nowhere you can escape. You won't run into a Slater.
Blessings to the Slater fam from the Kennedy fam.
All right.
Peace.
Hello, Will Romero here. We're at the Como Community Garden in Lake Como, Texas. Founded in 2010 by Dr. Sandra Stanley. The original gardener that did the actual work was a lady named Mona Washington. I've taken over her duties as of 2018. She still helps out every once in a while. She just lives on the other side of town. This garden consists of 3 plots of land here in Como. The vegetable garden being 1 plot, which was the original garden. The people that own the land behind here saw what Dr. Stanley was doing and were gracious enough to donate 2 more plots of land, where we have a prayer garden, a pollinator garden that is registered with the pollinator pathway and the Monarch Way station. We grow mainly annual vegetables here, some herbs. We've got a big grapevine behind us, as you can see. We've got a few fruit trees, a couple of peach trees, and some fig trees. We do not have any funding. This is all volunteer based. This is all donations that we get from the public and that we contribute ourselves. And as you can see, we're right here on a crossway of a busy street, and our grapevine was strategically placed here for people walking past to be able to come up here on a hot summer day and pick some grapes on their way. Anybody can walk into the garden and help us, or come pick some veggies or some fruit as they please. We're trying to get the word out that this place exists, and that, you know, we do need some help, and that we do want to give you some fruit. And so whenever these grapes are ready, you should come on by and eat a Como grown grape. They're delicious. Ask Buck.
They're very delicious, good, juicy, seedless, with seeds. It don't matter, juicy.
They are seedless. So,
Filthy lives, little
how big
guys,
the garden is, it's probably about
over white ties, black lives,
right at 1
white
acre.
lives, little lives, over white lives, with bigger ones, blue skies, take a life with no goodbye, make some sense.
Oh look, I got the year wrong. I said 2010, established 2009. Let's Here we have a beautiful Salvia farinaceae. It's a wonderful perennial plant that dies back to the ground every year, but comes back rather quickly, and it will attract some bees and butterflies and wasps and all kinds of pollinators. Good drought-tolerant plant. Next to it, we've got iris. This is an iris plant. Yellow iris.
Good morning, everyone. I just want to say this is your garden, the Como Community Garden, and we need our people coming out in our neighborhood to help volunteer. I moved right here across the street. If you need to knock on the door and ask how you can help and try to get involved, we got to store up the warehouse. God says store up the warehouse and be prepared for anything. It's the best way to prepare is to have fresh vegetables and fruit.
And I'm looking at the pictures I printed up this morning, and how long has this been here?
This has been here, it's about 8 or 9 years old now. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, y'all just pass by it and just don't even see it.
It's crazy. crazy. Right up under our nose, y'all.
Right.
So you already know. I just wanted to make sure I put up together a film. Look, the cat over here helping. Hey, what you trying to get the mustard greens?
That cat helps me every day.
Hey, my people. How y'all doing today? I hope very well. Thank y'all for coming out today. I am coming out to promote Mr. Will Romero, who is the hood horticulturist. He comes out and does all this gardening, keeping up with the Como community garden. And he will be on my show tomorrow on the Free La Soul podcast. Tune in at 2 p.m. If you want to tune in, go on Facebooks at Sarai B, Free La Soul, or IG, Free La Soul _ Sarai B. To tune in and see my boy, drop some seeds for y'all and let y'all know what's going on down here. So y'all come down here and be helping us grow some of these plants and shit. But y'all tune in tomorrow and yeah, link up with us.
She did a good job planting this tree. These are some Como grown peaches. Grab him too, and he long, he taller than me. But I got you.
Why don't you get you one?
Oh yeah. Lake Como, Texas. Oh yeah.
This for the ones who are lying for life. Let that pride keep you sharper than a blade on a knife. Stay on point, home slice. We gon' chop it up another time. They ain't cut like we cut. Only iron sharpens iron. This for the ones who are lying for life. Let that pride keep you sharper than a blade on the knife. Stay on point, home slice. And I promise we gon' chop it up. Only iron sharpens iron. They ain't cut like we cut.
When I make it off the block, I cannot change up. Can't let them frame us, put us in chambers.